Welcome back. All right, friends, now we are going to create a landscape for our penguins. You should have the penguins we created in the last video. They should be big and in the center of your paper, and they should have color on them. We are now ready to create the landscape. The landscape is the land that the penguins are standing on. We're going to do this by drawing an iceberg. It's going to go around the penguin's feet. Just like this penguin, he's standing on a chunk of ice. To do this, we are going to create what's called a free form line. It's going to be free. It can wiggle and turn and cut, but it goes around the base or the feet of the penguin to look like the penguins are standing on something and not just floating. The furthest point you have on your freeform line, I want you to draw a small line going straight down, just like this. I want you to do the same thing on the other side. The furthest point you have, draw a little straight line going down. Now we're going to make it look three-dimensional by drawing a parallel line. We've been practicing these lines. A parallel line is two lines running side by side. You need to go nice and slow, and this parallel line is following your free-form line. It helps you learn vocabulary when you say it out loud. Say it with me, parallel line and free-form line. Very good. Now it should look like your penguins are standing on a piece of ice. All right, now we need to create a landscape. A landscape is a line that's going to go from one side of your paper all the way to the other side. Take your pencil and on one side of your paper, you need to draw a line. It does not need to be perfectly straight. And go nice and slow. It goes behind the penguin's body. When I imagine this line going behind the penguin's body, it pops up in the middle of my heart shape, then disappears and then continues to the edge of the paper. Your line may be different, and that's okay. It may be higher and it may be lower. Variety in our artwork is good. Now we're going to create a line called a horizon line. Say it with me, horizon line. A horizon line separates the sky from the earth. Can you find a line in this image where the sky is on one side of the line and the ice and the earth is on the other side of the line? The line is not necessarily straight. It is a line that separates the mountains or the ice formations from the sky. Now on our piece of art, we need to create a horizon line. It needs to go above the other line we created, and it does not need to be straight. Remember, this is the landscape of Antarctica, where our penguins live. This line should not be straight. It should be interesting and separate the ice from the sky. Now, look at your beautiful piece of art. You have a sky, you have rocks or ice, and you have water, and a floating piece of ice for your penguin. If you haven't already, feel free to add more penguins, whether they're splashing in the water or swimming or diving or sliding on the ice. Adding more penguins will make your artwork more unique and more interesting. And a lot more fun. All right, now it's time to add some color. We are going to start using crayons, and after the crayons, we will use our watercolors. Let's start by talking about warm and cool colors. We need cool colors to show the cold water of Antarctica. So I'm just going to take a blue crayon and add some water and color down here to the bottom of my artwork. I'm going to use lines that make it look like it's deep water with swirls that are moving to help add some texture. Now, on the top, I'm going to use this as my sky. Remember, our horizon line separated our sky from our ice or our land. For the sky, I'm going to use warm colors. The warm colors are yellow, orange, and red. We want to add lots of colors to our sky to make it look like a beautiful sunset. So I'm going to pull out the pink and the orange and the red and the yellow, and I'm going to go crazy with some fun lines and colors and stars that make it look like the wind is blowing. Antarctica is one of the coldest places in the whole world, so we need to make it look windy and cold, like it's about to snow. Remember our watercoloring rules. Make sure you have a bowl of water that is away from your computer. Get your brush nice and wet, swoosh, and blot. 1, 2, 3. We're going to add cool colors. Remember, blue makes us feel cold. It's a cool color. We're going to add cool colors to our water. We want our water to look like the deep blue sea of Antarctica, where our penguins live. Remember to pause the video. We do not need to go fast. We're also painting around our chunk of ice. This will make it look like the ice is floating in the water, just like an iceberg. Take your time, color neatly, and use lines and colors that remind you of the cold, cold Arctic temperatures. We used green and blue and purple as our cool colors in our water. Yellow, orange, and red are warm colors that we will use for our sky. I'm now done with my cool colors, and we will use warm colors for our sky. The orange and the yellow and the pink, you can mix them all. You can have a very colorful sky. I like to use lines in my sky that make it look like the wind is blowing. Remember, we learned this when we learned about Van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh is an artist that showed the wind by using swirly lines. Feel free to use all kinds of lines when you're making your sky look like a windy sunset. It is very important that we do not color below that horizon line. Below that horizon line is ice. Do you see this little spot here? This is the ice. This is the ice as well. But this little spot in the middle should be water, and the water should be blue, which is the same as the other. So make sure you color that little triangle blue, if you have one. Looking through the two penguins to the background shows us that that is water, which is why we made it blue. Not the whole heart, just the little bit at the bottom. And there you go, our artwork is finished. This white space, remember, is the ice. It needs to stay white. This ice that the penguins are standing on also needs to stay white because it's ice. You may have added more penguins that look like they are swimming or splashing and having fun. But for the most part, you should be finished. Great job on your artwork, friends. I can't wait to see what you made and submitted on Seesaw.